First kapihan sa DOJ, and hopefully we could have more, right?
Yeah. Courtesy, the donuts and the coffee, courtesy of Yusek March.
Yun na yung ambag ko. So anyway, sige, so shall we start? So for that, we have here, of course, Attorney Janice Chan, State Counsel, and of course, the very admirable and handsome Yusek Romuald Vasquez. Okay, so who wants to start with the questions? Sir Adrian?
Baka siguro may opening statement.
Yeah, okay. As you will know, yesterday, Timor-Leste Court of Appeals issued a resolution granting the request for extradition of the Philippines. This means to say that all issues allegedly surrounding the late filing, violations of the procedures, etc., are already laid to rest, and the matter will now be considered as as proof of the fact that the will of justice in Timor-Leste is working.
So yung procedure siguro, may 30-day appeal po ba?
They have a period of appeal of 30 days, but unfortunately, Timor-Leste being a new nation, it's just a country in an infancy stage yet. Their Supreme Court, we understand, is not yet filled up. So the appeal, technically speaking, is not an appeal to a higher body exercising appellate jurisdiction over the Court of Appeals, but instead, it may just take the form of a motion for reconsideration before the same body, the Court of Appeals. This information, by the way, we gathered directly from the Prosecutor General, the Central Authority of Timor-Leste on extradition matters. And that information was relayed to our Chief State Counsel, Dennis Chan, who in turn is the one in charge of our extradition matters here at the DOJ. So that was the reason why we got the information fresh from the oven, so to speak.
May chance ba, sir, na ma-reverse yung decision, you think?
Based on my experience as a litigator, before I joined government, I've been a litigator for 34 years. Before I joined government last July 2022. Unless there are new matters, arguments, or pieces of evidence that will be presented, normally the same body would maintain their decision. We are very confident that the same decision would be rendered and the motion for reconsideration or the appeal would be denied in due course by the Timor-Leste judicial authorities.
Sir, can we just go back to the decision? Ano po ba yung nilalaman noon na nagsasabing kumatig dun sa mga grounds ng Pilipinas yung pagpapa-extradite na nga po kay Congressman Teves?
Well, let me just relate to you yung nangyari. No? When the Timor-Leste authorities sent us a formal notice through the Department of Foreign Affairs to give them our list of witnesses, that was the first time we learned that the Court of Appeals of Timor-Leste granted former Congressman Teves' request for trial, and they submitted 6 names. When we learned of that, we in turn submitted 5 names. During the trial, they were able to present 4 witnesses. In our case, we were only able to present 2 witnesses. The first was Yusek Nonoy Katura of the Presidential Human Rights Committee Secretariat, and the second was Court Administrator Raul Villanueva. After the testimony of the 2 witnesses, the Court of Appeals itself decided to forego the presentation of our 3 additional witnesses. And who are these 3 additional witnesses? It would have been former Supreme Court Justice Francis Andelesa, Bucor Head Director General Greg Katapang, and Amnesty Commission Chair Leia Armamento. Why was it that that was the result, that we were told not to present these witnesses anymore? Perhaps, and I'm surmising on this, perhaps the court was already convinced that all the issues that the former congressman wanted to raise that would prevent his extradition were already properly explained by the witnesses of the Prosecutor General. Remember that we are not formally appealing there, because the process of extradition is that all applications are coursed through the Prosecutor General's Office of Timor-Leste, and they are the lawyers in that petition, not us. So our role as a government is just to present the witnesses, submit all the needed and required documentary evidence.
Sir, doon po ba sa desisyon may sinabi about kung ano yung nag-sway talaga sa kanila to grant the extradition request?
I would suppose we're waiting for a copy, the formal copy, no. But I would suppose the certain issues that they raised were found to be baseless. Number one, that the judiciary is not independent in the Philippines. Second, that our judicial system is not working, and that human rights here are so bad that the accused would not have a chance of fair and impartial trial. Fourth, that if ever he would be brought back in, he would be subjected to torture or even possibly killed while in detention. And that in the event of trial, that he may be meted and found convicted, he may be meted the death penalty of life imprisonment. And it was properly explained there that we don't have death penalty anymore, and it's also a misnomer to say life imprisonment, because in law, the charges that are pending right now would have to be murder, and lalo na yung attempted murder lang, or frustrated murder as the case may be, which are pending in court. The maximum penalty there is reclusion perpetua, which in law is 40 years, nothing more. And it could be less pa nga, given yung mga good conduct type allowances and other favorable benefits that may be granted to a person deprived of liberty, PDL, who would not violate any of the detention rules and procedures.
Sir Jairo from Raptor, just curious lang po dun sa witnesses natin, si Court Admin Villanueva and then si Yusek na
Nonoy Catura.
Ano po yung mga testimonies na provide po nila during the trial? Especially na si Court Admin po na medyo...
He was able to explain fully yung independence of the judiciary in the Philippines. That the judicial system is working. That the accused is, under our constitution and under our statutes, the accused is granted so much rights and privileges that are not available outside of the Philippine jurisdiction. That we have a fair and impartial trial, and that would be heard by a fair and impartial judge. And that the penalties are only this much, because under the Constitution of Timor-Leste, I understand, one of the prohibited penalties there is death or life imprisonment. So those are the nuances that the testimonies of our two witnesses were able to explain fully to the satisfaction of the Court of Appeals. And that is the reason why we got that notification, Chief Dennis, di ba? Na we won't be presented, we won't have to present the three other witnesses anymore because it would just be corroborative or they would just affirm the same testimonies. And the good thing about Court Ad Raul talking about it is he is the one who has supervision over all courts, lower courts in the Philippines. So he is in the know. And the fact that all the reforms that the Supreme Court and the DOJ are doing in order to improve the administration of justice and to ensure that no one should be subjected to any injustice or a miscarriage of justice, these were properly impressed, I'm sure, by the court administrator and also by Yusek Nonoy Catura, who is very well versed in our human rights promotion and protection. He had been there for the longest time.
Yeah. Yusek, yung isang sinasabi ng Teves camp na nagpe-prevent kay fugitive expelled lawmaker Teves na bumalik sa Pilipinas, yung appeal daw nila for political asylum. May we know ano na pong status ng political asylum? And if wala na po yung political asylum na yun, the question now is what would happen now to Teves?
Good question. Yung political asylum was the first recourse that was availed of by former Congressman Arnie Teves. This was denied. They filed a motion for reconsideration. This was denied as well. So to our minds, as lawyers, that is the end of the rope on that particular aspect. Your question of what happens now. What happens now is that there is a pending proceeding, which is the extradition proceedings, which led to that favorable ruling of the Court of Appeals granting the request for extradition. But there is a 30-day period granted to the subject of such proceedings, former Congressman Teves, to appeal. But put that in context. Okay, may 30 days ka to appeal. Question, could you be arrested? It's up to the Timor-Leste authorities. Why? Because that person, subject of the extradition, is already an undocumented alien from the point of view of Timor-Leste officials. Why? Because the Philippines had already cancelled his passport. So it's now a question really of what do they have to do, and that's a policy decision on the part of Timor-Leste authorities whether or not to arrest him for purposes of making sure that he won't slip out of Timor-Leste or that he would be available whatever would the result be on his appeal, because we understand that the lawyer said that they would be appealing, and that's within their rights. But as to the immediate arrest, as far as we could see it, he could be arrested as an undocumented alien. And once he is arrested, he would not be arrested because of the extradition proceedings, but because he's being undocumented. And what would be his status? He would be an immigration detainee. We have a number of detainees. These are people who have violated our tourist here or visa holders who have violated our laws or who have violated the terms of their visas.
And then Yusek, just last question po. After po nung...
Sure ka na last na.
Last na po talaga. After po ng...
Sige.
From me. After po ng ma-deny yung motion nila, immediately enforceable po yung extradition.
We hope, yes, certainly. And we are making preparations as well for such, I use the word eventuality.
Sir, regarding sa preparations, meron na bang na designated detention facility na kung saan ilalagay si Teves?
That's part of the preparations. That's part of the preparations. Obviously, kung that's part of the preparation, meron mga options. And we have to make sure also, because we don't want that our assertion before the Timor-Leste Court of Appeals or that before the world, that we can make sure. In fact, the testimony of DG Katafang, and he told me about this, is that he would have declared under oath that he would make sure that the safety and the life and safety of former Congressman Teves would be assured while in detention.
Pero sir, i-clarify ko lang, hindi siya isasama o isasama ba siya dun sa iba pang suspect din dito sa kasong ito? Kasi nakadetain na, di ba? 11 or 13 of them na.
Alam mo, iba-ibang sitwasyon ng mga akusado eh. These are major security issues that would have to be addressed in the future. And it is incumbent upon the government to make sure that no harm should befall on former Congressman Teves. Similar to Senator De Lima, di ba? Nothing happened to her naman. But as to her, the treatment of her, hindi naman siya sinama sa mga kasamahan niya na co-accuse niya sa the different cases that were charged, that were filed against her.
So sir, definitely ihihiwalay po siya.
Again, that's part of the preparations. I'm not a security expert, so we don't want to go ahead of put the cart ahead of the horse, so to speak.
But we are looking at other venues other than Bilibid or BJMP facilities. Campground.
That's part of the arrangements or the preparations.
Yung pagsundo po, paanong scenario, may mga police, NBI, or ilang tao po from the Philippine
DOJ po ba ito?
government? DOJ po ba yung maglilid at
Pag nawala na kami, ibig sabihin DOJ sumubong pa, di ba? Anyway, joke lang yun, off the record yun. Ganito, yung part of the preparation arrangement, but definitely, we have to give due respect to the jurisdiction of Timor-Leste. So, and the sovereignty of Timor-Leste. So, the turnover, ganito din, di ba? Ang naging sistema, nakita naman ninyo yung sistema ng pag-deport, parang ganyan din ang sistema. Dadalhin sa aeroplano, etc. And then ito turn over sa taong yun, and then it's only when that the detainee is turned over to the representatives of the receiving country na mawala na doon sa kustodiya ng Timor-Leste authorities yan. Pero hanggat hindi na ibibigay, na-turn over sa atin yung kustodiya, wala pa tayong karapatan doon. So yung mga tanong kung may police, may baril, obviously, hindi naman pwedeng extraterritorial application ng karapatan ng mga ating mga law enforcement. So those are the things na we would have to seriously consider given the security requirements of the situation.
Sir, clarification. Di ba dati pinapunta NBI pick against si Teves? Sila rin kaya mag-escort pabalik sa Pilipinas? NBI rin kaya?
Alam mo, pinapunta sila doon para makipag-coordinate sana dahil nga implementation of the red notice ng Interpol yun eh. So, the thinking was, since Interpol or law enforcement, NBI dapat yan. But later on, nagkaroon ng kunting complications, kaya mas lalo na nag-request sila ng mga lawyers naman si former Congressman Teves doon. So it was not implemented the way we expected at that time.
Sino pong a-arresto kung sakali? Interpol or
Hindi.
Police ng Timor-Leste?
Police ng Timor-Leste. Sa ngayon, wala na yung Interpol notice eh. Kasi yung Interpol notice naman, red notice, it's not a warrant of arrest actually. Yung nature ng red notice na yan. It's only allows the authorities of any member state of the world of nations to implement yung red notice yan, arrestuhin for for purposes of, and then a certain period lang yan na pwedeng i-hold. Yun din ang reason kung bakit na-release siya eh. Tsaka meron din mga internal procedures din kasi ng Timor-Leste tungkol sa gano'n ba katagal ang preventive detention. So habang tumatakbo yung kaso, nag-iba-iba ang kwan, diba? Minsan, nagkwan siya, nung una, sinabi kasi na parang hindi tama yung pagkahuli dahil may problema daw yung application ng yung request for extradition, bakit daw email, etc. or paso. Pero nang i-explain naman ng Prosecutor General yung sitwasyon, kaya nahuli siya kaagad in a matter of minutes. And then later on, naging house arrest dahil nga sa internal procedure and laws ng Timor-Leste, hindi mo pwedeng indefinitely na hawakan yung isang detainee. But, you know, kung tutuusin mo, pwede nga kasi immigration detention dapat eh. Kaya nga lang yung konsepto na ipag-isip nila, police, yung police custodial detention ang aspektong yun. Hindi siya immigration.
Sir, ano yung assurance na binigay sa atin ng Timor-Leste na hindi makakaalis si Teves sa Timor-Leste? At saka, monitoring pa rin ba siya? Kamusta siya ngayon? May report pa rin ba every 2 days kung nasan siya? Ano ginagawa?
Well, this discretion yan, Luisa, ng Timor-Leste. Pero we have to understand na, and we have to assume na Timor-Leste being a responsible member of the World of Nations and meron siyang application na magkasasama sa ASEAN. Yan. So, ang kailangan niyang gawin yung nararapat. Kasi all eyes, the microscope is on them, on how they handle this. If they would, the subject of the extradition would slip out of their country despite yung monitoring or kasi sabi nila kahit hindi na siya naka-house arrest, pababa kasi yung degree of control eh. Sa ngayon hindi na siya naka-house arrest pero monitored daw siya 24/7. So, yun. And itong bagong development na to na meron ng favorable ruling for the extradition, we are waiting keenly and with bated breath kung ano ang magiging next move nila. Wala pa kaming information eh. Kung nag-iba na ba yung security arrangements or hinuli na ba siya, etc. Because we also don't want to preempt out of respect and out of courtesy to a fellow sovereign state as to what Timor-Leste would do under the circumstances. But one thing is sure, they have to tread carefully on how they handle this. Dahil kung makakalusot siya, assuming na magkakaroon ng problemang ganyan, it would be an indictment on them, not us.
Pero sir, push ko lang ng konti. Pero kaya ba natin i-black and white yung request na hindi talaga makawala si Teves from Timor-Leste? May formal letter?
Alam mo, yan, turf and jurisdiction ng DFA yan. And I know sa public international law namin noon sa law at saka sa policy sa UP, there are certain things that you ought not to do out of respect to a fellow member state. Kasi ina-assume mo naman ng good faith na gagawin nila yung obligasyon nila na hindi sila magiging rogue state, so to speak. Okay. So, and remember that they have a lot of stake on this as well. Eh. Kasi pending yung application nila to be a member of the ASEAN.
Sir, speaking of international,
Akala ko mahuli na.
last na from
Ikaw talaga.
Hindi na siya pumunta rito.
Nagpapagawa pa niya sa akin.
Bigyan nyo na.
Sulit natin, sir.
Mahira lang yung sir na dito.
Sir, speaking of international cooperation, pwede ba natin masabi na yung success ng DOJ in extraditing Teves can be used for criminals as well in the future na tatakas from the Philippines?
Certainly. Certainly. In fact, ito nga ang proof na you don't have to have extradition treaties. Because all of them are member states of the World of Nations. Signatory sila sa different conventions and treaties that is the norm amongst members of the UN. So even outside of that, and that's exactly yung way by which this process came in.
Last na po.
Last na yun, ha? Okay na.
Sir, ito na. Mayor Guo tayo. Sir, yung citizenship, yung fingerprint na lang, sir, yesterday, game changer ba yun sa complaints na nakafile sa kanya? May magbabago ba sa pagdinig ng kaso since may possibility na iba yung citizenship niya?
I'm responding as a lawyer. Yes, it's a major development because this means to say na if the fingerprints of one who is allegedly a Filipino is found later on to be the fingerprints of an alien or a foreigner, then yung citizenship niya would be under serious question. And it would be easier, far easier for the OSG, our lawyers in cases of quo warranto proceedings, to initiate one. Problema mo lang dyan is if you think outside of that case, how many cases are of the same situation or same modus operandi? How many? And you can imagine na kung ganyan, bawat isang tao, kuwaranto mo.
Siya lang naman sir yung mayor so far.
You don't know that.
Pero sir, subject pa siya for deportation if ever.
Ha?
Deportation, ipapa-deport kung sakali.
Dennis. Deportation eh.
Si Mayor Alice Go could not yet be subjected to deportation proceedings as of the moment because she still retains her Philippine citizenship. So while the NBI may have confirmed that the fingerprints of Go Huaping and Alice Go are the same, meron pa rin siyang pinangahawakan na birth certificate that identifies her as a Filipino. So that threshold must be overcome first. If and when she is found to now be not a Filipino but a foreigner, then that is when deportation proceedings can take place.
Pinapa-cancel na po ng
Opo, ng PSA. Would that affect, sir, yung complaint na
Pinapa-cancel, but is it already cancelled?
Should it be
cancel?
Should it be cancelled?
No, I mean, pag na-cancel na.
Pwede ba siya mag-report?
Okay. Yung pag-cancel kasi ng PSA is not the determinative factor dyan sa pagkawala ng citizenship eh. Kasi kahit i-cancel ng PSA yan, on one hand, meron pa rin siyang validly issued na birth certificate. The court will have to determine under the quo warranto case kung which one is correct. Kasi yung pangalawang cancellation nila, hindi naman administrative yun eh. Ito, judicial ang magiging issue. Darating din sa punto na kung mawawala siya, ang pagka-Pilipino niya, ano mangyari sa kanya? At pwede maging stateless.
Tuloy yung kaso. Tuloy yung kaso pa rin.
Alam mo, komplikado yan eh. We are going down a slippery slope kung anong mangyari sa kanya. And it would not be fair kasi speculation yan. And if we have to tell you kung anong pwedeng mangyari na nila yan, that's giving them ammunition on what to do later on. Let them do their job. Dami-dami abogado, makilala ko pa yung katabi.
Ito na lang, sir. May order na bang DOJ sa NBI to find the real Alice Guo na sinasabi nila?
Nag-issue na yung Senate through Senators Risa and Wing to precisely locate yung Alice Leal Guo. Kasi nakikita naman natin sa news. And it's really, well, kung maikuan mo yan, in terms of probability na parehas yung pangalan, pati yung birth date, etc. Medyo, yan eh. Parang ang magiging sagot doon is abangan ng susunod na kabanata na talaga. But all the legal processes are at play. The OSG is gonna be initiating the quo warranto, and that would start and then of course she was already suspended by the ombudsman. So you know, yung issues have already been presented in the open. So yun.
Sir, Chair. Schedule na lang po ng PI. Itong
Di ba may complaint siya, sir, di ba? Before you. So, for PI,
Yung qualified traffic.
may schedule na po ba tayo?
Andun si Richard sa malikot eh. Kailan daw yung hearing ng qualified traffic? Wala pa. It's gonna be raffled off, and I'm sure there will be a panel sa nagagawin dyan just to make sure na it would be well studied. So,
Special panel.
most likely yan. Most likely. Pero titignan kung sa tingin nila kayang i-handle ng isang prosecutor lang, then it will be decided by a single prosecutor.
Yusek, ano po magiging treatment ng DOJ? Ano ba mas gusto nila? Halimbawa na patunayang nagkasala siya. Gusto nila siyang i-deport outrightly o mag-serve na siya ng ano dito?
Alam mo, yung deportation kasi, normally, it wouldn't come until matapos yung pending cases. So kung may pending case ka, whether it's just on the criminal case on the preliminary investigation stage or during trial, or worse, na karoon na ng desisyon sa'yo, you have to wait it out. The only exception to that would be if there is a treaty, sa UK meron tayo, na I think Australia meron din, yung the treaty of transfer of sentenced persons. I don't know kung napirmahan na ba yun sa Spain. So, these are the countries na meron tayo. Ibig sabihin, kung ang foreign national na nakonbikta dito, persons deprived of liberty na, they could apply for the application of the Treaty of Transfer of Sentenced Persons. At doon na sila ikukulong sa country nila.
Meron po ba with China?
Wala.